Hi, book club. It is that time of the month where we talk about our books and how we felt about them. So I'm a little behind on my reading wrap-ups because I told myself this year I was going to do better and I was going to do my month to month reading wrap-ups, and I'm already failing. So with that being said, I am going to include January and February and March in this reading wrap-up, and then hopefully from here on out my reading wrap-ups will be monthly. Let's get into it. The first book I read for the month of January was I Who Have Never Known Men, and this one is a yes. I gave it a 5 stars. I loved this book so much, and it awoke something in me, and that's all I can really say about it. I don't know, I haven't read a book like this in a while. Highly suggest others read it. It is a really good book. Moving on, the second book I read for the month of January was Problematic Summer Romance, and I gave this book a 2.75, so it's more of a maybe for me. I have a weird on-off relationship with Hazelwood books. There's some I really enjoy, and then there's some that just don't hit for me, and I fear this one was just one of those ones that didn't hit. Like, I have mixed feelings about Deep End, but I really enjoyed Mate. I think that's the one. Or is it Bride? The first book, whichever one's the first book, because I haven't read the second one in that series yet, but I really want to. Moving on. Okay, so funny story about this one. So the third book I read for the month of January was Voice of the Ocean, and this was actually supposed to be an ARC because I requested it on NetGalley. I requested both, I guess, the ebook and the audiobook off of NetGalley, and I didn't even realize I requested both. I don't know how I managed to do that, and I never saw that I got approved for it, and by the time I noticed it, it was already in my archived section on NetGalley. However, I finally was able to read it, and I read it through the Libby app, and I gave this one a 3.5 stars, and I never got really a chance to review it on NetGalley, and I feel really guilty about that. Moving on, the fourth book that I read for the month of January was Lessons in Chemistry, and going back to the first book, this one just gave me similar vibes. I really enjoyed the internal monologuing style dialogue recently, so I really enjoyed this one. This one is a definite yes for me. And now we're moving on to February. I read only one book. I was kind of going through a slump, and so I just kind of took my time. With that being said, in February I read my one and only ALC for the month, my one and only book, which was Heart of Mischief, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. This one is a sequel to Soul of Shadows, which I also really enjoyed. I read that one last year and reviewed it, I think, in September. Heart of Mischief I gave a 5 stars too, so definitely a yes. Moving on to March. This one was a big month for me, mostly because I read my first, I know it's not technically a physical book because it's an ebook, but to me, like, reading the words on a page is different than experiencing it in an audiobook format. To me, all counts as reading. Let me be very transparent. Audiobooks are still reading, but getting to read the pages and getting to experience it that way is just a different experience. And I recently implemented a new lifestyle, and I decided to replace doom scrolling with my Kindle, and I made the most beautiful little setup. I got a page turner and a Kindle stand. I've been loving it, to say the least, and that allowed me to read my first ebook in a very long time, and that was It's Different This Time. And unfortunately, there was just some things in it that were really hard for me to overcome and really pulled me out of the story a bit. So I gave this book a 2.75, and it's a maybe for me. The second book I read this month, in the month of March, is The Wedding People, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I honestly was shocked at how much I enjoyed it because I kind of went in blindly, not sure what was gonna happen. I thoroughly enjoyed the emotional depth of this book. I gave it a 4.5, so this book is a definite yes for me. Highly suggest reading it. And then my most recent finished read was Witchcraft for Wayward girls, and I gave this one a 5 stars. Again, very internal monologuing style dialogue. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am very much in a feminine rage mindset recently, and so I've been really enjoying books with that kind of energy. That is all the books I've already read this year. I am really focusing on just slowing down and really enjoying books this year, because last year I think I read somewhere between 70 and 80 books. That is like really not normal for me, because I consider like if I can read like 50 books in a year, like I consider that a good year. And because I've read so many last year, it kind of put me into a slump, because it felt more of like, how many can I read, and let me read only trendy books, and I really didn't get to take time and just slow down and read. With that being said, that is the end of this video. I'm so thankful that you're here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will see you guys in my next video, but don't forget, you can find me over on my other socials at bookshookslooks, and the link to my link tree is in my YouTube description down below. Toodaloo.